What is up, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Pez's Picks. I'm Jeff Hartman. I am not the man with the picks. That is this guy next to me. If you're watching live on YouTube or on YouTube, Pez, what's up?
Well, we're dialing in, Jeff. 4-3 NBA. We'll talk about our strategy coming up, but we're starting to figure this NBA out a little bit. We're starting to, it's like we talk about a lot. Uh, a total minefield. NBA gambling, college basketball, even worse. So yeah, we were talking off camera, Jeff. It's hard for me to not bring it up. We just re-signed Vaughn, the Philadelphia Eagles. So our odds on that Super Bowl, they're going down. I encourage people not to pick a future on the Philadelphia Eagles at this point. Bad odds. Bad odds, not worth betting at this point because we're clearly the favorite to win it again next year, Jeff. I mean, let's just get the Eagles
Oh,
talk out of the way.
well, I would imagine that it was more the Saquon Barkley extension that might have decreased the odds than the Zach Vaughn re-signing. But that's just, hey, that's an outsider's perspective. So I
Could
don't know.
make an
Take my
argument, Vaughn may be more important than Saquon. Somebody could make an argument in that situation, possibly, Jeff. I don't know. I mean, that
that's
defense.
a stretch to me. Yeah, he was an important part of that defense, but my gosh, that defensive line, that defensive front was phenomenal this year.
We're coming back. We're getting Myles Garrett too. That's next fall, domino to fall there.
Oh, you're listening to Coach Kevin Smith and what he's here hit the scuttlebutt out of the combine. I can already tell. But all
Oh
right.
yeah.
We'll talk about the NFL futures as the new league year comes up next week. But still, let's talk about the NBA. You mentioned 4-3 overall, coming off a nice win, the Golden State Warriors. Let's talk about that and your overall plan for the NBA in the coming weeks.
So last night it's kind of what our algorithm, our system's dialing in, Jeff. We're looking at teams who made deals. I mean, Golden State, the Lakers are pretty obvious. That are, as the young kids say, Jeff, they're on the come up. They're getting better. About 20 games left in this season, and it's turned into an NBA league that it appears 30 games left in the seasons when everybody starts kicking into high gear and high effort. So, I'm glad we showed restraint and staying away from this garbage. I'm calling the regular first half of the season just garbage. So last night, great win. Golden State Warriors. I don't know what was going on here, Jeff. And this is what at Pez's Picks we look for every morning. We get up, we start punching numbers. Yesterday morning, Golden State Warriors were getting 5.5 at the New York Knicks. Now, there was some question about Steph Curry playing with his ankle, but Steph Curry, he has lit up Madison Square Garden, maybe even more than Reggie Miller. I I have no idea where this line came from. The New York Knicks have not beaten a top five team. I don't think the whole season. I think they're 0-10 now or something. I don't know where the line came from. We got on it by game time. It dropped to a pick. I don't know. Maybe this was thinking Steph wasn't going to play, but outright dog winner, 114-102. Golden State, we're going to put that out there. We're taking them, Jeff, right now for winning the championship, plus 2,500. I talked about it with my man Legs. He had a different casino we were looking at. I was looking at FanDuel. It's plus 2,500 at his casino or his sports book, plus 1,600. So if you get plus 2,500 for Golden State Warriors right now, I think that's the greatest deal going. They've got size up front. Their defense the last 10 games since they got Jimmy Buckets has been phenomenal. I believe these numbers are right. They were talking since Jimmy Buckets came, Steph Curry shooting 60% from the field, 40% from three-point. And, he's not the only guy they have. I like this team's chances, especially if the Lakers don't get a big man. And Oklahoma City, until they do it, they're a young team. And, they could do it. And I could honestly see Golden State getting to the finals. Denver's starting to leak a little bit of oil, it seems like. I don't know. Maybe they're holding back a little bit. But our system going forward, we're looking for teams that play defense, that rebound, that have something to play for. There are teams out there that they're wrapping it up, Jeff. The Sixers, done. We're taking a game tonight. Dallas, Kyrie Irving goes down. We added up real quickly. Just under 100 points have been average points scored have been lost for the Dallas Mavericks in trades and injuries, counting Kyrie. I don't know how you recover from that. I don't think you do. I'd be shocked if Dallas makes the playoffs. I'm looking at a collapse for them going forward. And coaching is coming into play a lot as well. I think Miami Heat are a team who aren't very good, but they're going to play hard every game. Detroit plays hard every game. And there are teams I think that haven't shown us what they have in the tank, and they're starting to now. So yes, the numbers come into play, but you got to look at motivation. You got to look at roster. You got to look at guys coming back from injury. And I feel like we're really starting to get dialed in just to show how brutal this league can be. We had a game last night that we didn't take money on. We were looking at it. I was looking at Milwaukee last night playing Atlanta. The line we saw was 5. That stayed steady all day. The game was ending with a 5-point finish. Milwaukee was up 126, 121. I said to myself, man, I'm so glad we laid off this game. One bad play, this game could have gone either way. A push is probably what it should have been. Jeff, with 14 seconds left, Atlanta misses a shot. Somebody on their team calls a timeout. They have no timeouts left. Technical foul. Lillard gets up, drains a meaningless 1 point, one shot, technical foul, and they lose. I started sweating, Jeff. I had to remind myself, you didn't bet this game. NBA basketball betting in general is a toxic thing. We have to be careful. Let's not bet the house on these things. But I do think there are bargains out there. You got to get on them early. And injury report's a big thing. I don't understand. I've never seen bigger injury reports in my life. And, that's something that we're going to be looking at every day. And that last night we put out, if Steph Curry is not playing, pull your bet from Golden State. And he played, and I hope everybody made a lot of money.
So are you abandoning the Lakers play you said a couple months ago when they got Luka, and you said this is the team, this is the play to win it all? Wasn't that plus 1,500 or something like that?
I believe plus 1,600. I still like that play. I think if they get a big man, and I don't, then the NBA, there's ways to get players. Trade deadline's passed, but I think if they can somehow get a big man, that they are the team probably to beat in the NBA. I don't like their front court right now. I think if they do figure out a way to get a big man, some veteran comes out of retirement, I don't know what it is, but that team could all of a sudden jump to, top 3 favorite. I like them. That's a value play. And Golden State, clearly a value play at plus 2,500. I watched that game last night. I watched every second of it against New York. And, I don't like New York. I think New York Knicks were better last year. The guys they traded and what they traded for, they're not getting the same return, but it's still a scrappy team. I think so. What I'm saying is the Golden State Warriors beat a good team in the Knicks, and when you can go on the road and win these games, that's proven something. Right now, Golden State, I believe, is sitting 7th in the conference. They want to try to get to top 4. I don't think they're getting to top 3, but top 4, you're guaranteed at least home court advantage for early round playoffs. So I think that's a value play plus 2,500. Steph Curry with a hurt ankle, he looked like. How we used to talk about Patrick Mahomes until the Eagles kind of made me look bad. And everybody, he looked like he stunk. But Steph Curry was moving faster than the game last night. I mean, he came in and killed that game. It got a little tight in the fourth quarter. He came in and dumped 10, 12 points and assists and shots. And I think Steph Curry is on a mission, just like I think LeBron is. So when you have, arguably 2 top 10 guys in NBA history, Curry and LeBron, you match them up with, studs, Jimmy Buckets and Luka Doncic. I think you have to take that advantage when you can. Plus 1,600 Lakers. I like that. I think Golden State plus 2,500 is a flat out steal right now. And, that's worth $10 to win $250. That's not a bad return when you got Jimmy Buckets and you got, one of the best guards ever. We debated today. Is Steph Curry better than Kobe? I mean, I hate to talk about a guy who passed away, but I think he's knocking on that door at this point, Jeff. And I think this could be it for this guy. He wins. Maybe he walks away. Kerr, great coach. And, I love everything about Golden State right now.
All right. So you have some plays coming up in the NBA and you want to talk about those. Go ahead and start that.
So, we're going to put this out on Instagram. We're taping Wednesday and this is going to go, people won't hear this till Thursday. So we are taking a game tonight just to kind of explain our system a little bit. Dallas at Milwaukee minus 10. A lot of points, Jeff. I think that's a flat-out steal right now. How could Dallas, after losing Luka, Kyrie, I don't think they have a center on their roster that isn't injured. Like I said, we counted up the number of points that they have on the bench, injured or traded away. It's closing in on 100 points. So Bucks, 7 out of the last 8 they've won. Giannis on a tear. The guy's triple-double Tuesday. He's almost averaging a triple-double for the season. Milwaukee looking for a 2-game sweep for the 3rd year in a row against Dallas. I love this play. And I know we're putting this on tape. I hope I'm eating our words next week, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for an advantage in either injury, either scheduling or motivation. And I think right now the numbers we can adjust a little bit. I don't think averages, points scored and points against, are really accurate for a lot of these teams, especially when we count effort and motivation. And I think Milwaukee's got something to prove. Milwaukee, they have these two studs. They've got Lillard, they've got Giannis, like a lot of these other two-man kind of stud teams. And I think they're looking to prove something. I love Milwaukee -10 tonight. That's a lock. So this is Wednesday we're taping. So
Okay.
that's tonight. Thursday and Friday, we're looking at, and I hate to say it, Jeff, and this is proving to people I'm not a homer. The Philadelphia 76ers are an atrocity. They're an embarrassment to Philadelphia right now. I think that team has just decided we are done. I believe they're in Boston last night. What our numbers are punching, a 10 or 11 point favorite for the Celtics. That line isn't out right now, and it's kind of a hard one to kind of nail down because between Boston and Philly, we got about 24 guys on the injury report. So that'll clear up tomorrow morning. We're taping Wednesday. This is, coming out Thursday. If it's 10 or 11 points, I love the Celtics. Rebounding right now, that's one thing that we really value on our system. A team that doesn't rebound, to me, is lazy and poorly coached. Philadelphia, last in the league. They're averaging 39 rebounds a game. That's atrocious, Jeff. 10 rebounds a quarter. I think I could go out there and get 10 rebounds. If you just stand there, the ball's going to bounce to you at some point. So it appears they are done with effort. They know the season's over. Embiid, this guy's getting put out to pasture. The Celtics come in 45 rebounds a game. I mean, what that adds up into us is 6 extra possessions. That's 12 points. As long as the normal starters, 2 out of the 3 at least play for the Celtics, we're going to be all over this. And, that's something we'll watch on Instagram for Thursday. Now we're going to get into Friday. I believe, Jeff. Actually, no, we'll stick with Thursday. We've got Indiana at Atlanta. Indiana, I'm guessing the line's going to be about 8 points. Atlanta, huge disappointment. I like this team a lot. They looked good a couple years ago against the Sixers in the playoffs. Trae Young, impressive little dude. I mean, this guy puts up, almost 12 assists a game, 24 points a game, not getting a lot of help. One thing that we look at a lot, last 10 games, point differential. So are you winning? Or are you positive points or negative points on average in a game? Atlanta's coming in -3 point differential a game. They're coming in just under 3 points below the spread in their last. They're 12 and 17 against the spread at home. All the numbers point towards the Pacers, who is a team that I really think we haven't seen their best ball yet. I think that's a team that's tuning up for the playoffs. They had a great run last year, took Cleveland to the end. So I love Pacers. Our system has them at about 8. If that gets up to 11 or 12, we might have to rethink that one. 15 turnovers a game for Atlanta. That's another thing we look at. When you're turning the ball over and you're not rebounding, you're either poorly coached or lazy or both, and both of those are bad things to bet on. So Pacers on the road, -8, 9. We'll nail that down by tomorrow when we put it out on Instagram. I love that game, though. I love the Pacers. I think the Pacers finish strong. A weird team, a long, kind of lanky team, and I think a team that could cause some problems in the East. And I wouldn't want to play that team in the playoffs. They showed that last year. Long teams that can defend well. They're kind of physical once playoffs get going. And a team I think that hasn't shown us our best ball yet. So 2 plays tomorrow, Celtics at home, Pacers on the road. Love them both. And if you don't hear it on Instagram, we're not putting it out. And look for tomorrow to have those plays announced.
Right. And so make sure you check out Pez on Instagram and Twitter at Pez's Picks. Both of those platforms, the same handle. Now, I do want to say in NBA, we're wrapping up the picture this week. We are in March and we are getting closer to March Madness. Are you holding off on college plays until the conference championships and until the first few rounds, or how's your outlook for March Madness?
Jeff, we've been looking at some of these games, and it's a very difficult thing to wager right now. SEC all of a sudden is a good basketball league, which is kind of strange to me. We're probably going to nail down the championship week and the tournament. I do not believe and advise people to bet on college basketball on a regular basis. If you have a favorite team, if you're watching a game or going to a game, maybe you put a little wager in. I think systematically there is no algorithm for regular season college basketball at this point. It's not the traditional college basketball we used to have. There's no stability. And at the end of the day, we might not have motivation from players with this NIL money transferring. Very difficult thing to handicap right now. We're going to lay off on that one at least until the tournament, maybe for championship week. We're going to get involved. Will Duke win the national championship? I'm selling that, Jeff. Duke is notorious for blowing it in the tournament. So until they win one, we're going to sell on Duke winning it. And Alabama, Florida, some good teams, Texas Tech, Wisconsin. So we're going to have some fun with that once we get to the March Madness. And we did well with it last year. Numbers start coming together. There's a lot of history and algorithm based on your seeding. I don't know why, Jeff, but it always makes sense. 12-5s and 13-7, yep. And so we'll lock that in. But we're going to stick with NBA for now.
All right, sounds good. Now let's talk about my bread and butter, golf. We got a big tournament coming up, and now I'm not talking about the Puerto Rico Open, which is for the people that were not invited to the signature event, which is the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill down in Florida. This is kind of like a kickoff. You got the players coming up in a couple weeks, and then you have the Masters just days after that. So it's going to be an exciting few weeks in the game of golf. We have a full field. Scotty Scheffler, the odds-on favorite to win at plus 320. Rory McIlroy comes in next at plus 750. Ludwig Oberg, your boy, plus 1,600. Xander Schauffele, plus 1,800. And Colin Morikawa rounds out the top 5 at plus 2,000. You're liking Ludwig. Go ahead and explain your thoughts there.
Well, anyone can make an argument. Scheffler, McIlroy, that those are going to be good plays, any tournament. Having said that, Jeff, and I don't, Pez's picks, we like to stick it to business, unless it's talking about the Dallas Cockroaches. We don't like to disparage people personally, but watching that Netflix full swing special, which if you're a golf fan, I suggest you get on that. It's fantastic. You kind of learn more about the player, and in every other sport, a little bit more about the players. So helps you in terms of handicapping a little bit. Rory McIlroy, Jeff, I'm a little concerned about this guy. What a year he had last year, right? And I was reminded by that. Part of being a star is being able to handle being the best in the world. And, I reminded myself, there are a lot of guys in the world that had athletic talent like Michael Jordan, had talent like Tom Brady, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Mentally, you have to be able to handle that and perform. And Rory McIlroy, it appears to me he can't handle that anymore. And I wonder, is he a good bet? We're going to see him go out and win tournaments at times. He's probably the best golfer in the world. His swing is immaculate. His putting's even gotten better. His wedge game's improved. But he's not winning these big events. So I worry about Rory. And I don't know if it's a pressure of family life, live, whatever it may be. I don't think he's a good play any week. I don't think that U.S. Open, that DeChambeau destroyed him, right? I was reminded of that watching that this week. I have trouble putting money on him. He's getting older. Scheffler, fantastic player. Never going to be a bad bet. When you're only getting plus 320, I don't know. I think in a big field of the best players in the world, not a great return. I think right now, Ludwig Oberg, I don't want to mispronounce and get yelled at by my wife, Jeff. Got to respect this guy's ethnicity, Scandinavian, whatever he is. So Ludwig Oberg, plus 1,600. I don't know if there's a better golfer in the world right now. He looked like he was having fun winning 2 weeks ago, and he probably should have won 2 weeks before that. He got some poor food poisoning or malaria, whatever the hell it was. I love him at plus 1,600. I don't know where these odds come from, right? How could they have this kid, and it's a bomber's course. I believe it's stretching out to 7,600 yards, something like that.
7,400 some, yeah.
So it's a mile. It's a mile.
Long course.
The rough is going to be ridiculous. You got to be able to pound that ball a mile, and your wedge game and your short iron game. And I don't know. I'll take Oberg and Scheffler in that situation against anybody. I can see Rory, and I hate it when he does this, Jeff. I don't know. His caddy's like his best friend. Anytime Rory misses a shot, it's like everyone's going to miss shots. Scheffler misses a shot, stone cold. Oberg, he kind of smiles about it, right? A goofy Scandinavian guy. You can't negative cheer. It's something I hate. I caution anybody when we're watching the Philadelphia Eagles. If you negative cheer, you're out of the room, Jeff. No negativity is allowed in sports for winners. Aberg, whatever the hell you want to call him. I love him at plus 1,600. We put a mid-round or a mid-tournament play-in over the weekend. Michael Kim, Jeff. I think this guy, he might have played better golf than anybody last week. He did not win. His putter went cold on Sunday. I don't know if he missed a fairway. I don't know if he missed a shot. Michael Kim, he went back to a draw. He is pounding the ball like he never has in his life. A draw play, and you know this better than I do. You know what your draw is going to do, and when you're playing a little bit of a power fade, can kind of get a little bit loose. We see that with Scheffler sometimes, but Kim draws everything. I think this course lines up for a draw player, and if he's putting plus 8,000, Michael Kim, not bad odds right there. $10 to win 800. Not a bad play right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was rooting hard against I was rooting so hard against Michael Kim because that's how you cherry picking a tournament like the Cognizant Classic. And I'm like, you cannot be serious. Pez is cherry picking this stuff. Like, make the pick before the round. So at least you made the pick before round one. I respect that now. I don't like the cherry picking in the middle after the cut's been made.
Well, think of the odds. I don't even know what he was. Joe Highsmith wins. What was he, plus 50,000? Who knows?
It was
Jeff?
crazy. It was crazy.
We talked about it with some of my golf nerds. If you put $10 on every long shot since January, you're probably a millionaire at this point. I mean, we've had 22,000 to 1 guys win. It's an odd start to the golf season. I think the pressure of the live and for the PGA guys, I think it's getting to them. And we're seeing these nobodies kind of come out without feeling a little bit.
Hold on a second. I mean, first off, Rory won the last signature event was the Genesis. He did not win that. That was Ludwig. He won the one before that in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I don't think these guys care anymore. Like, these guys haven't been around for so long. I don't think it's a distraction as much as it used to be. But I think now it comes down to these big name players just aren't playing in a lot of these tournaments. You go back to last week, okay, the Cognizant Classic. You know who the odds-on favorite to win that tournament was?
It's probably Batia, wasn't it?
No, Shane Lowry at plus 2,000, Pez. Plus 2,000. No one's playing in that tournament. You go a week before that, the Mexico Open, that's when you had Akshay at plus 1,400. And he didn't even win. But still, it comes down to these fact that these guys aren't playing in all these tournaments. They're basically pulling a NBA with like, well, we're just going to play in a certain number of events every single season. That's the issue.
And maybe that's part of it as well. I mean, maybe you got to grind a little bit. Maybe only playing in these big money tournaments is chalk. I think has been hurt by whatever it may be. Live, the schedule change. If we go back to January, I mean, we've got Hideki wins, then we've got Nick Taylor, Sepp Straka, Harris English, Wyndham Clark, chalk guy, Thomas Detry. Then Brian Campbell.
That was a great tournament, Puerto Rico.
And then we have Michael Highsmith.
Joe Highsmith.
Whoever this guy is. We'll never hear his name again, Jeff. God bless him, though. I mean, he just made his life better.
He just got invited to the Masters, damn it. Good for him.
And we're seeing, Fowler and Spieth not getting invited this week.
Good.
I think there's bad mojo going on.
Play better, Pez. Like, they're all bitching. So. Sorry, pardon my French. They're all complaining about not getting a special exemption. Then play better last season to get into these signature events this year. I'm so sick and tired of these spoiled brats. Ricky Fowler said it. He's like, hey, I got to play better. Jordan Spieth, I guess I have to play better injured in 2023. Shut up, Jordan Spieth. Like, he's rubbed me the wrong way.
And maybe this is part of it, right? Maybe we're in a transition kind of thing. Maybe we should be looking at bigger underdogs when we're going to be putting these plays in. And then with Brooks Koepka coming back from live. I'm here. John Rahm might be coming back from live. I just think the drama and the money, right? When you're pressing to win these PGA tournaments, Jordan Spieth probably could have gotten $250 million from live. He's not winning anymore. You got to go home, and that's got to eat at you. Ricky Fowler, I think a little bit different situation. That guy, he's making money on endorsements, but he turned down probably 100, 200 million. So I don't know. I think it's bad, and not to be political. Maybe the Donald, Jeff. Maybe they took it to the Donald.
Here we go.
Tiger Woods play golf with the Donald. I would love to be in that cart with the Donald and Tiger Woods. They're not talking to each other, Jeff. We're talking about two guys, bigger egos than maybe anybody in the world. They probably didn't even say hello. Is Tiger really going and playing his A game with the Donald? I don't know. I hope it happens. I'm not a huge fan of the Donald, but anyway, Jeff, if he fixes this golf, I might vote for that guy again because he's probably going to run a third time. Constitution's not holding that guy back. Nothing holds that dude back. So I will vote for that Donald. When you watch that full swing, maybe a Shambo. Maybe these guys don't live. Maybe for some guys this is working. The guy's loose. He's pounding the ball. I'm a big Sahith Theegala fan. I hope he makes a comeback. And Joel Damon, Jeff, that's a guy holding my heart. I love that guy. I feel like I play with that guy every week out there. Had a good showing again last week. So I hope he holds his card. That's a big thing for maybe we'll put some action on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've hit a pick on the last 3 tournaments. Okay. And so I've gotten one pick right the last 3 tournaments. I've got my favorite. This is not outright winner. My favorite, Scotty, at plus 320. The guy's won this tournament 2 out of the last 3 years. He plays well at Bay Hill. He knows the course well. Mr. Palmer, as they all call him, like he's dialed in here. He's due as well. So I've got plus 320. It's not great odds, but long shot, I've got Tony Finau plus 5,500.
I saw his name on there. Pounds that ball. If he's rolling putts, I mean, that guy's
short game is out of this world. He's holed out from just off the green or bunker, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times already this year. It's insane. But hey, here's a play for you, Pez. You could double it up, do a bonus. And if one of these 2 players wins, you could win plus 1,200 odds. Ludwig or Tony Finau, plus 1,200.
I like that play a lot. Maybe we might have to put that on Pez's picks. We'll send a shout out to Fairways and Dreams, Jeff.
Yeah,
plus
do
1,200, Finau and Oberg to win.
If one of those 2 guys wins outright, you get plus 1,200 odds.
Fantastic. I think I'll take those 2 guys over Scheffler and Rory. And I think both of those guys mentally a little healthier. Don't forget, Jeff, Scheffler has a baby. Pez's picks when we get to the Masters. Anyone carrying a baby in the par 3 is not winning that tournament, Jeff. You could not carry a child around and then play well the next day. You've got more than me, Jeff. I had a kid. You carry that kid around, it's like carrying around a sack of potatoes. Arms, shoulders. That's something we're going to be watching for. Having said that, I love Scheffler, and his game a little bit not his A game lately. A little bit fishy, a little bit more emotion, Jeff. Maybe the lack of sleep.
He's due. I think this is the tournament he gets back on track. So we'll see.
Party wish here, Jeff. I'm not a huge soda guy. I look for a little pick me up. A little cloudy, a little rainy at the beach. We're getting some waves kicking up again here finally. But I was looking for a little caffeine boost. If I'm going to have a soda, it's a Coca-Cola. Out of the can or the fountain, plastic bottle Coca-Cola is garbage. Tastes different. A buddy of mine says, try the Diet Coke. I got a metallic taste in my mouth, Jeff. Who made Diet Coke? What is it? It can't be good for you. What are they put metal in my mouth. It's pissing me off, Jeff. I'm going to go full Eagles on Diet Coke. We were selling Diet Coke. I'll never have one again. To hell with Diet Coke, whoever made it. Mr. Diet Coke, Pez's picks. We're FFSM. We're coming after you.
There you go. All right. Well said, Pez. This is a good way to wrap it up. Enjoy the games this weekend, man. We'll talk next week. Take it easy.
Later.